Hello there, guys, and welcome to part 3 of saying goodbye. And I'm just gonna make this introduction short so I can continue reading it. And yeah, anyway, see you guys at the end of the video. I just love you, and I'm worried about you. You ain't gotta be worried about me, sis. You're the one who's sick. You're worried about you. Apple Bloom closed her eyes and rested her neck back against Applejack's orange chest. You're right, Big Mac. Do my friends know what's going on? Applejack glanced over the top of his sister's head, weak hope in her voice. Nope. I can't get to them. I was barely able to get Apple Bloom down here, and that's because, well, I know you'd need to see her. It's a real blizzard out there, and the Ponyville, and the Ponyville streets are closed. Big Mac explained apologetically. Ah, she looked to the window. I see. It was dark outside, but the large snowdrifts and plainful falling flakes were visible breaths, the light escaping the windows. I could try. Big Mac looked out the window as well, crying a little as the fierce winds howled. No, I couldn't ask you or my friends to put themselves in danger right now. I'll just have to write a letter. Think you could get me a quill and paper? She broke an apologetic smile, not liking having to ask her brother for help. Of course I can. I'll be right back. He dipped his head and turned away, trotting out into the hallway. Apple Bloom had curled into a ball and was comfortably snuggled up against her sister. Applejack kissed her forehead and began to stroke her mane with a hoof. I love you so much. And I'm so sorry, Sugar Cube. The filly sniffed a little and let out a little snore, already beginning to dream. I love you too, AJ, she murmured, still sleeping. Here you go, sis. Applejack looked up as Big Mac returned. He dropped the writing materials gently onto her lap, then reached down carefully for a hug. Applejack returned the embrace, then kissed his cheek and leaned back. I don't even know where to begin with this letter, but I can't just go without saying goodbye. Big Mac cracked. It ain't fair. First Mom, now you. Why is this happening to us? The floor beneath his hooves was dotting with his tears. Mom passed for condition onto me. My bad. Mom passed her condition onto me. You know that already. What do you expect me to do? What am I supposed to say? I'm losing my little sister. I can't lose you. Not you too. Big Mac collapsed into a chair beside the bed. It ain't right. Applejack looked down at her little sister, her eyes flowing the stable moments of her chest. Look, Big Mac, you got a day, one day, to get it together. Apple Bloom's gonna be depending on you starting tomorrow. You got it? You need to pony up and start hopping. You ain't got time for this. Big Mac nodded, keeping his eyes on the floor. You think this is hard on you? Granny, give me a break. I'm the one who's gonna deal with it. With knowing you'll never see the look on little Apple Bloom's face when she gets her cutie mark. I'll never get to hear her laugh and play again. I'll never get to hear her about her first kiss or see her grow up. You know how to make me feel. You know how that makes me feel. Do you know? Big Macintosh. Applejack's lip quivered as she spoke. Her voice cracked and broke. Now excuse me while I explain to my friends why I'm not around anymore. Well, if you aren't the most, what? What if I ain't the most what? Applejack glared back into his eyes, still speaking Apple Bloom's meme. Still stroking Apple Bloom's mane. Sorry. If I could trade places with you, I would. I would love to trade, as a matter of fact, but I can't. Who's gonna be the one to explain to little Apple Bloom that her sister ain't around no more? Who's gonna be the one getting questions thrown at him every which way? Questions that I don't want to answer or even think about. Big Mac jerked and hoof about the dying mare. It sure as heck ain't gonna be you. Well, I guess we both got issues with me dying. Applejack left out a hoof and fell backwards, resting up against the bed frame as she began to write. Does it hurt? Big Mac asked, his mane covering his worried eyes. It feels like my heart is trying to break my ribs out of my chest. Applejack kept writing without looking up. Excuse me. Nurse Redhead stood at the door. It's after hours, and hospital policy doesn't allow visitors at this time. I'm sorry, but you and the other patients need their rest. Now, wait, just a second. You're telling me that I can have my family with me for at least few hours of life? Applejack growled at the other man, her chest heaving. I'm very sorry. I really don't have a choice. This isn't a hospice, and I just can't allow ponies to stay after hours. I'm terribly sorry. The nurse mouth twisted into an apologetic grin, her ears drooping. No, you can't make. Applejack lost her breath and began to cough, placing her hoof against her chest. Big Mac stood Sorry guys. Big Mac stood and was still for several moments before moving his sister's bedside. I love you, AJ, and you know, I can't stay here no more. Our fusion just can't keeping these other sick ponies up anymore. Now, I think you got a letter to write, so save your strength for that. He turned to the nurse. Listen, I'll go, but Apple Bloom here is already asleep, and she ain't bothering no pony at all. Please, let her stay. I'm not asking for much. I just don't want AJ to have to be alone through this. The nurse let out a deep sigh and nodded. Stepping out of the room, Big Mac slowly turned back to face his sister, looking her in the eye before giving her one last hug. I love you too, big brother. You take care now. You hear? Big Mac pulled away, turned and left the room. Slowly tottering down the silent hallway with no distinction in mind. Applejack looked back at her little and heavy pit of her stomach. and she knew finding the right words won't be easy. Breathing out gently, she began to write. The clock ticked time away while Apple Bloom snorted quietly against her sister's chest. Applejack sobbed once and wiped her tears away. Setting the completed letter in an envelope off to one side. As she did so, the nurse and doctor walked in. "Are you feeling alright? Do you want more painkillers?" The doctor checked her bit ties, avoiding eye contact. "Nah, I'm good. Well, I don't want to end up falling asleep too soon, you know?" Applejack winked, forcing a smile. The doctor let out a deep breath and lowered his ears. I understand. Please, let us know if there's anything you need. We'll be close by." "Will do." Applejack nodded and began to stroke Apple Bloom's mane once again. "Oh, hey Doc." "Yes? What is it?" "Will you do me a favor?" Applejack looked down at her sister. "Promise me something." "Of course." "When I go, please make sure you get her out of here before she wakes up." And she choked up and placed a hoof over her failing heart. "Of course I will." He rubbed his eyes with one hoof and cleared his throat. "Would you like a glass of water?" Applejack stood. Applejack shook her head, dismissing them both, then rested her head back on the pillow. She felt weaker, and then, as the strength continued to drain from her body, her long, blonde mane fell over her face as she forced her eyes closed, then quickly opened them back up, afraid that she might accidentally doze off. Gusts of wind howled and rattled the window. I sure hope Granny's downstairs. How to be drafting bedrooms of her. Hey guys, I am deeply sorry for doing this to you once more. Anyway, I seem to almost reach the 15-minute mark, and I clearly don't want to do that. Well, yeah, anyway. The story is really getting intense. Applejack seems to have less moments as we speak right now. She's in medical care. Makes me sad. Anyway, I'll be continuing the story on. Part 4 will come out. Heck, part 3, 4, 5, and 6 will probably come out tomorrow or today. Because I'm not editing. Actually, I'm trying my very best not to mess up, and so far, I'm doing a pretty good job. You're probably saying, "Nah, you suck. Stop doing this." But I'm just gonna continue. I hope you guys like it, and rate, comment, subscribe, all that fun, juicy stuff. Anyway, see you guys later, and have a good one.